Turn with me to 2 Corinthians, the 13th chapter. Times like these, you have to go into a self-examination. I can recall when I first got saved, and every time something would happen, I would always examine myself. It's a rarity today. We're dealing with a generation that put the blame on something else or somebody else. And I can recall when I was growing up in the Lord, the first thing that I would do, whatever happened, I would always check myself. And it benefited me down the road to not have a spirit of always blaming other people. Even the things that wasn't pleasant, things that didn't agree with my flesh, I realized that God was working something out in me. 2 Corinthians, the 13th chapter, the 5th verse, read.
Examine yourselves, whether ye be in the faith. Prove your own selves. Know ye not your own selves, how that Jesus Christ is in you, except ye be reprobate.
If you don't do this self-examination, you can deceive your own self. You can create a world by you, your flesh, and everything can be right, but everything can be wrong all at the same time. You have to be able to even look at the disagreements and tests and trials and come to the conclusion, God knows something about me that I don't know. And before he can fix anything concerning me, first I have to acknowledge it. So he has to bring me around so he can prove to my own heart whether I'm for him or not. Psalms 26 in the Bible, the second verse, read.
Examine me, O Lord,
After
and
you
prove me.
examine yourself, you have to permit God to examine you. If you do a self-examination, you could miss out on a lot of heartaches and pains if you judge your own self. And then after that process, you let God examine you, send you through the process so he can prove you. Read again, second verse.
Examine me, O Lord, and prove me. Try my reins and my heart.
I'm teaching, a lot of times we talk about being apostolic, and, we emphasize the doctrine, which is right, and the oneness of God, all of that is right. The baptism in Jesus' name, Holy Ghost speaking in tongues, all of that is right. But being apostolic is a lifestyle that we live. I remember when I started eating the alkaline way, and it wasn't a diet, it was a lifestyle. It was a mind change when I wanted to eat to live instead of live to eat. I'm no longer eating to satisfy my flesh and taste buds, but start eating for health, eating to live a better quality life. So living for God, you have to be a lifestyle. So being apostolic is a lifestyle, a holiness lifestyle. It's not just being able to contend doctrinally for the faith only. It's a representation as an ambassador of Christ. And in order to do that, you have to do a self-examination on not just look at yourself, but examine yourself. And you don't do that once a year, you do that on a daily basis. The moment something happens and you feel a certain way, or the thoughts that are not right, it's time to do a self-examination. Psalms 26 and 3. Read.
For thy loving kindness is before my eyes, and I have walked in thy truth. I have not sat with vain persons, neither will I go in with dissemblers.
Now look at the prerequisites of a holiness life. It's telling you the lifestyle that a person lives. Psalm 26:5. Read.
I have hated the congregation of evildoers, and will not sit with the wicked. I will wash my hands in innocency, so will I compass thine altar, O Lord, that I may publish with the voice of thanksgiving, and tell of all thy wondrous work. Lord, I have loved the habitation of thy house, and the place where thine honor dwelleth.
This 8th verse, I cannot understand how you can come to the conclusion that you don't have to come to the house of God when part of the love, we are the church, God's people is the church, but there's a place where we gather to worship Him and to glorify Him, and irregardless of these last days, times and situations, and a person don't examine themselves. If I walk away from the house of God now, and I say that He is not able to exempt me or us from, He's not the healer of COVID, He is not, there's danger if I come to the house of God, I don't see how you can go back to worship. You can't possibly go back. I'm talking about true worship in spirit and in truth. I'm not talking about entertainment. I'm not talking about skillful singing. I'm not talking about charisma preaching. I'm talking about a covenant relationship where I have examined myself and I trusted God in the most darkest moments of my life. Trusted God when I did not understand. Trusted God when it looked like all the odds were against me. And when you look at the world, they're dealing with a pandemic that they can't even handle. And so I'm gonna put my dependency on what they say. I feel that we are God's people. God helps some true people, regardless of who professing Jesus and who. It takes the love of God to survive in this life, because you can see things in people and so forth. But I refuse in these last days to live a life and say that God cannot handle this when He done handled all of that in my life. Everything that created a self-destructive me, God was able to conquer and create this new creature, this Bishop McLeod, and which still needs God, depend on God, then grow to a place where I don't need Him as much as I used to. I grew to a place where I needed Him even more, because He could send another test and show you what's in you. And I have to trust Him for His examination of me as I examine myself. Somebody tell God thank you. 1 Corinthians 11th chapter and the 28th verse read.
But let a man examine himself, and so let him eat of that bread and drink of that cup.
So you examine yourself to see if you're worthy. Worthy of what? I got to know His will. You can't just, so many are concerned about what they want so they know their will, but do you know His will? You got to know His will for you. Romans 2 and 18 read.
And knowest His will, and approvest the things that are more excellent, being instructed out of the law.
His will is more excellent than whatever your will is. His will is consistent of His thoughts and His ways. His will does not connect with your will. Matter of fact, his will is contrary to your will, and it's going to clash. The flesh going to fight against the spirit, and the spirit against the flesh. And then God have to send, he have to manifest himself in the evil that surrounds us, if that makes sense. And you can't possibly, God can't be glorified without the evil that surrounds you. 1 Corinthians 11 and 19. Then I broke down the different versions of this. 1 Corinthians 11 and 19 read.
For there must be also hearsays among you, that they which are approved may be made manifest among you.
Now, it got to be hearsays among you, that they which are approved may be made manifest among you. If you don't have some hearsays, if you don't have some argumentative people, some evil people among you, then we can't see who God's people are. So the CEE version of 1 Corinthians 11 and 19, you're bound to argue with each other, but it's easy to see which of you have God's approval. This is when the teaching, I don't care how much you like it or not, but you can't do what other people do. There's some things that we can do you can't do. So, then we'll give you another breakdown of 1 Corinthians 11 and 19. No doubt, there must be divisions among you so that the ones who are in the right may be clearly seen. So, a person can attack me, and they could be wrong, and it has to be manifested. So the results is it's not me giving a freedom to act in the flesh, or me giving a freedom to say you were wrong, so that's why I'm acting this way. It's not giving a freedom. It's giving a freedom for God to be glorified and manifested while the enemy is attacking. And it can't be manifested without the argumentative, attitude-ish. That's why you see all this other stuff going on and people getting sick and so forth. You're supposed to examine yourself. And then somebody else can go through the same process and they feeling nothing. Ain't feeling nothing. It's supposed to be a self-examination. You're supposed to check yourself. So you can't possibly know who real if God don't send them tests. God don't send the enemy. God don't use somebody among us so it can be manifested. Do you have God's approval in your life? Because you have people that have grown with gifts. And I was talking with somebody today, and they said, well, God really let me see myself. You know, I realize I'm here by grace and mercy. He said, but he turned around and yet he still used me. I said, those are the people that he used. Somebody that he can show yourself to. And instead of blaming it, what just manifested, what you just did to me, or what just happened, and then a person picking up their flesh, picking up the spirit. So you ain't winning just because you argue and you can tell somebody off. You just lost. Because you just manifest yourself. So the people that's God's approved, they're going to be clothed in humility. They're going to be cast down, but not destroyed.
Yes.
They're going to be talked down upon.
Hallelujah. They're
going to be looked down upon. They ain't going to be liked. And then the people will be able to see who God with. I know what just happened. I see this thing, what just happened. But God turned around and still use you. He turned around and still use me. And then a person sitting there looking at, Bishop just threw the brick. Bishop just got mad. And so forth. And then turn around, God still used me. He manifests. I'm going to show you who God's approval. I'll show you who God with. Somebody else can be so gifted but can't go through nothing. Can't handle nothing. Because God take the hearsays among you, not the world. He say among you. I plant people right there in your congregation to be your test. So I can manifest who is mine and who not mine. Read that 1 Corinthians 11 and 19 again. Because we've been living this a while. And God have to reveal who's who in his church. Read 1 Corinthians 11 and 19. What is that?
For there must be also hearsays among you, that they which are approved may be made manifest among you.
He said, they which are approved, they'll be made manifest. God will manifest who he with through the manifestation of inward, showing the house to the house.
Yes, sir.
When the house getting tested by the house. He showed the house to the house of Israel. So he showed the church to the church. When he let the church see the church and then see how people are going to respond. See if they really do have the love of God. Because people can very easily for their family, and that's what you mostly see, and their friends, they can overlook certain things. Or they'll even take their sides because they're family or friends and so forth, that they'll take up for them. They don't even really check to see if they're right or wrong. Oh, but somebody, you always picking on my children. You always picking on me. You always bothering me. And so forth. So they very easily can do it when their love is manifested in the flesh. But for the kingdom, they take the love of God.
Yes, sir.
Take the love of God for somebody to come and test you. And then God is manifesting in you and you still love them. All it was to manifest. Do this person has God's approval in their life? So how do we do that? 1 Corinthians 11 and 31. Read.
For if we would judge ourselves, we should not be judged.
All of that is in a self-examination. I'm going to judge myself. I'm not finna, the first thing to come in my mouth is not going to be, I'm this some way because of the way you treat me. I'm this way because of what this happened. I am this way, I must confess, because the way you treat me. It manifested God's approval in my life. While they cast you down, he'll raise you up. The further they push you down, the higher he'll take you. So I am who I am by the grace of God. And I just want to tell him thank you. Somebody tell God thank you. Thank him for every test, every trial, every enemy, every liar, every backstab. I thank God for them because they made me who I am.
Oh,
But approval of God. 1 Corinthians, the 9th chapter. So all of this part of a self-examination. 1 Corinthians 9 and 27. Read.
But I keep under my body.
You can't cast this out. This ain't casting out no demon. You can't cast you out of there. Come out, you, in the name of Jesus. We can't cast you out. We cast demons out. So you got to bring your body under subjection. Read 9 and 27. What is that?
But I keep under my body and bring it unto subjection, lest that by any means, when I have preached to others, I myself should be a
I'm
castaway.
teaching and preaching now for the times when I get 80 and 90 years old, if the rapture don't take place. That the church done got accustomed to teaching and preaching and not just entertainment. And then everything is geared around just an individual, and it can't even function when you're not around. You want everything to be able to function. So therefore, I have to have components on the inside that fight against me in order for me to stay humble enough so that God can get the glory out of his growth and development in a church, in an individual, in a body of believers, and so forth. You got to keep that thorn in the flesh. And so you ain't going to be able to, you go to God. Paul went 3 times. And God said, my grace is sufficient for thee. So I don't care how much you pray, that thorn is just there. That's just your test. And I have to bring my body under subjection to the will of God. Do y'all love the Lord? Psalm 66, checking your own heart, checking your own thoughts. And you don't do that on blessings. You do that through tests and trials. You don't go checking yourself and God just gave you a blessing. Oh, I must be, he just loved me. Look what he just gave me. No, the real you is manifested in the fire. The fire reveals your heart, your intent, the real you. Read Psalm 66 and 18.
If I regard iniquity in my heart, the Lord will not hear me.
If the relationship is proper, then all of this can stop sin. If the relationship is proper, if a person ever got to the place where I don't just pray to God, I pray to God and he talk back to me. But if a person don't have that relationship where they talk to God and talk back to them, so when iniquity comes, you can't desire something that you don't have. So if I regard iniquity in my heart, the Lord will not hear me. So that's back in the days when God would literally say to me, I'll stop talking to you. You don't humble yourself, I stop talking. But if a person don't have that relation, when I first got saved, those things I was here in prayer. I was young, growing in the spirit, learning, and the Lord would say, you don't stop, I won't talk to you. I was so used to him talking to me. In CEB version of Psalm 66 and 18, if my thoughts had been sinful, he would have refused to hear me. So if a person don't have that relationship, so they don't feel there's nothing to lose. They don't have nothing to lose. They don't have nothing to lose. You know, if I keep acting like this, God ain't gonna talk to me no more. If you don't have that type of relationship, then you don't see no reason to stop. You just keep on acting a certain way. You sit there, you got the Holy Ghost, you walk around with an attitude all the time, mean all the time, but they don't have no relationship. Or they have gotten used to him. He don't talk to me no more. He don't deal with me like that no more. They done got used to it. So they go deeper into iniquity, deeper into the flesh, deeper into their thoughts and their ways. When I can't survive without hearing back from God. I don't want to get used to living this life and he don't instruct me. He speak through the man of God and he speak to me in prayer. I done got used to him talking through the man of God. I done got used to him talking to me in prayer. But if I don't have the relationship, if you never had that relationship, you don't have that respect for your pastor or man of God, where when he talking, you literally say in your heart, that's God talking to me. You ain't never had that relationship. Or you ain't had a relationship to go on your knees and you talk to God and you can hear when that small, still voice talk to your heart. You know this thought didn't come from you. You know what you just heard didn't come from you. You know that had to be God. But if you ain't used to that, then you don't have no relationship to lose. These things keep us in our place. I don't care how contrary or how somebody turn on you, it keep us in our place because I don't want to mess up what I got with God. This is what being apostolic is. This is the real process, not just sitting here just talking about it's just one Lord, one faith, and one baptism. And that it is. That's right. But how are you living it? Are you living a life where you examine yourself? You living a life where you, well, I could see sin in the flesh, and then you pray to God, Lord, take this out of my life. Stop this from going on in my life. Do what you got to do to stop it. And instead of just continuing in your folly, continuing you confessing the same thing, the same failure, the same old thing, and so forth. He said, Lord, so it's just like these people not going to church, scared of a virus in the air. So they're saying, oh, you God, you a wonderful God, but you ain't got the power to stop this virus. So I ain't gonna deal with that. So you got to do your self-examination on that one thing that you fighting with in your flesh. You might got the faith to go to church during this COVID. You got that faith, but do you have that faith to deal with that thing that you failing with in your life? That thing that keep getting you over and over.
Oh, yeah.
And then you got to go to God, say, Lord, fix this. So you ain't gonna shut down just like before. I ain't going to church. I ain't going to no building. I'm gonna stay home. And then most of the people who died of this virus stayed home.
Amen.
So quit lying, talking about that they went to church and got it. No, they didn't. They stayed home or they went on somebody's job, and that's where they got it from.
Yes, sir.
They ain't going to church and get it. And then the church got to be strong enough when something like that comes. Tell somebody, I'm covered. I'm covered.
Yes.
You done covered us. You covered us. I'm ready to go to New York as Dr. McLeod.
Yes, sir, Bishop.
You're spiritual and physical. Why? Because we can lay hands on the sick and they shall recover.
Hallelujah. Heal them.
I'm behind the vision.
I know him. He's the healer of COVID-19.
Oh, yeah.
I know it for a fact that God will take care of you.
Yes, sir.
Hallelujah.
So Bishop McLeod ain't got to go to New York. Dr. McLeod can go.
Yes, sir. Yes.
If you can't cast the demon out, I just lay hands on the healer in the name of Jesus. We're going to get that demon out, though. It's going to come out.
Yes, sir.
Oh,
So
yeah.
we ain't worried about that.
Yes, sir.
And I got a doctor friend, too, a physical doctor. So if you can't do it that way, we'll get you cut open, too. Y'all love the Lord? Tell the Lord. So one way or another, COVID going to be gone when we finish.
Yes, sir.
By the help of the Lord.
Thank
Oh,
you.
yeah.
Somebody tell God thank you.
Thank you.
I'm glad I'm saved.
Yes.
I ain't walking around here in no fear. I ain't walking around with no defeated life. But you got used to combat in the spirit.
Hallelujah.
You got used to adversity in the spirit. So all of this rhetoric about the way we live and going to church. Man, I'm going to live a life and say God is not the healer of COVID? That I got to stay home to conquer COVID? No. I don't care how many church folk y'all say dying and going on. They ain't happening in no church. You a lie. They shut down the moment they said shut down. They shut down. So don't be trying. They didn't. They went home. They went home and got it. And then you come and give God His praise and give God His worship. The seal. What happened to that seal until the day of redemption? What happened to that Holy Ghost seal, that Holy Spirit seal, that when you spoke in tongues, it's supposed to be ziplock. How can COVID come through a ziplock spiritual seal that God put on every individual?
Thank you, Jesus.
Why? Because they didn't mix it with faith. They just spoke in tongues. They didn't mix no faith on that. You got to mix this lifestyle with faith. I believe God was the healer of cancer. God the healer of every illness that was in my body. And I can't trust Him for this. Tell somebody God gonna take care of you. I know He'll take care of you. And I ain't young. These young people ain't worried about it because they just young. They young and dumb.
My Lord.
You know. And so they just have them a good time. Man, y'all old people getting the COVID and so forth. Look at him. I don't care what age he is. The blood done signed my name.
Yeah.
My name in the book.
Oh, yeah.
On the cover.
Yes, sir.
I ain't worried about it. I believe in this seal until the day of redemption.
Yes, sir.
I believe he's sealed. There's nothing come in and can't nothing go out.
That's right. Yes, sir.
Except I allow it to.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Tell somebody God done came in me. He done came inside of me. The hope of glory is inside of me. COVID can't abide in him.
Oh, yeah.
Because God is in him.
Yes, sir.
Are y'all listening to me?
Yes.
I got to give him glory. I got to give him praise.
Yes.
So y'all need me in New York? Just call me.
Yes, sir. He in the house.
That's all you gotta do. Just don't feed me no meat.
Yes.
Y'all love the Lord.
Amen.
Tell the Lord, thank you, Jesus.
Thank you.
Psalm 77 and 6. Read. You lost it?
Yes,
It's in your email. Read.
I call to remembrance my song in the night. I commune with my own heart, and my spirit make diligent search.
When the last time you communed with your own heart? When the last time you did a real examination? Instead of looking around and looking at what other people doing. Look at them over there. Look at them over there. Look at them over there. When have you communed with your own heart? Let me check myself out. And my spirit made a diligently search. Took a diligent search on myself. Most people, the moment they go through something, they start looking at other folks and looking at who did what, look at how they acting over there. Now, there's too much going on. I gotta check myself. I gotta see that this test been designed to show me something about me. So let God take me to his schoolhouse through these tests and trials and let him send a test so he can get the glory out of it. Lamentations 3:40. Read.
Let us search into our ways and turn again to the Lord.
Check yourself. Consider your own way. Look at that Haggai 1:5 and then 7.
Now therefore thus said the Lord of hosts, consider your ways. Thus said the Lord of hosts, consider your ways.
Consider your own ways. Don't be so quick to point out what somebody else doing. Check your own ways out. Consider your ways. Did your ways cause this to happen? Did your ways cause people to turn? Did your ways cause situations where nobody want to deal with you, nobody trust you? Did your ways do this? Did your ways destroy your ministry? Did your ways bring you to the place where nobody believe in you? Did your ways consider your ways? And if the stuff that's going on in life, when a person can't even examine themselves, check out your own self. Galatians 6:4.
But let every man prove his own work, and then shall he rejoice in himself alone, and not in another.
See, people do a work, and the first thing they want is acknowledgement. They want accolades. So he said, let a man prove his own works, and then shall he have rejoicing himself alone. I just feel good because I did the will of God. And, did y'all see what God used me to do? And you want people to give you glory. You want people to speak well of you. When you could be in the middle of tests, everybody could be looking down on you this season, just so God can get everybody focused and looking at you while he raised you up. You have to, when you're in that season, it got to be alone. You know, Lord, you know my heart. People say it all the time. You just crooked. I don't know what. You know my heart. Lord, you know my heart. You know I meant well with this.
My God.
You know I was trying to do what's right. But it's spoken evil. The Bible said, don't let your good be evil spoken of.
Yes.
You know, Lord. And then if evil being produced, and whatever it is you get the glory out of it, then I'll change so you can get the glory out of it. I want him to get the glory so I can rejoice alone when I know I have done his will. I ain't looking for people to say, oh, look, you just doing a wonderful work. You know, what you gonna do during that season when people looking down on you? You know, but if you weren't raised up in that environment of adversity, if you raised up in an environment where people just speak well of you, or you always had your cheerleading team, and to grow up in leaders, true leaders, are birthed and raised in adversity, not in blessings. We done got used to living a certain way. We got used to people saying certain things. So when it's that season to be alone, to know you're doing the will of God. The day when they called me about the church, it was in my mind. It was just in my mind about the tornado hitting. And I was saying to myself, I'm so tired of these patch-up jobs. You know, we just patching this roof. You know, man called me today, he said, well, I'm thinking about just reconstructing the whole roof. Put a whole new steel frame up there and just build a whole nother roof on top of the roof.
Yes, sir.
But that was just in my mind. Didn't even get a chance to talk to God about it. It was just in my mind. You gotta know that the work that you're doing, you can rejoice in it alone. I ain't waiting on people to speak well. So what's going on with the Southern District? Tornado. You know. What's going on with them? God setting us up for another miracle.
Yes, sir.
Another blessing. That's what's going on.
Oh, yeah.
A blessing in disguise again. What the devil meant for evil, God can make it good.
Yeah.
So they were talking to me today. I said, what you think about that? I said, you know, I ain't want to act so anxious. I said, yes, that sounds like a good plan to me.
Yes,
I
sir.
said, get an engineer in here, let me see the plan laid out. I said, yes, sir, we'll do that. God will take care of you.
Yes, sir.
He'll take care. He said, sir, I tell you what we're going to do. We're going to start ripping the carpet out. We'll rip it out. Go ahead and rip it out.
My Lord.
Just rip it up. I wanted to put some blue carpet in here anyhow. Didn't have the money. Rip it up. Rip it. So your enemy just sitting there while they ripping it. Look at that. They're stripping them. They will let it be stripped. So he can do a makeover.
Yeah. I like
Same
that.
thing he did with our body, with my mind,
Yeah.
with my heart. He had to rip some stuff out to make me over again. Do y'all love the Lord?
Amen.
The man said, well, Monday, we're going to start ripping out, we're going to tear some walls down, and then I'll look at it all itself. You know, the same thing, it was supposed to happen to us. God was supposed to be breaking us down, taking some more of you out, putting some more of him in. And so now he said, well, this carpet too messed up. We just going to rip it out. Well, rip it. Then come back and ask me what color I want to put in it. That's what you do. Y'all love the Lord?
Amen.
Tell the Lord thank you, Jesus.
Thank you, Jesus.
My final scripture, I think, 1 John 3 and 20 and 21. Read.
For if our heart condemn us, God is greater than our heart, and knoweth all things. Beloved, if our heart condemn us not, then we have confidence towards God.
So my heart is allowed to condemn me, to let me know conscious state when something is right, something is wrong. Not just naturally, but spiritually. Okay, you allowed this thing to happen. You allowed this tornado to hit so you can get some glory out of it. To see how are you gonna act during that season when people just chattering, talking about you, because it don't look too good, you know. How when you got to go and pray for all of these sick people, you know, lay your hands on all these, but while they chattering, while they talking, you got to know the work that I've done. I can rejoice alone. I ain't waiting on the accolades of people. I can rejoice alone. Because they got me something going on with Jesus. Do y'all love the Lord?
Amen.
May God bless you. May heaven smile upon you. Any questions? All right. Is this it all? Lord, I thank you.